Hey, Empathic Healers, question journal prompt for the day. When you go without in order to help others, do you then feel anger and or resentment? So yesterday we talked about if you, and there was a whole lot of yeses, right? So then when, after you do without or go without in order to help others, do you then feel anger and resentment? So are you ready to dig deeper? Then grab your journal and journal with me. Today we're talking about forgiveness and transformation in the heart chakra energy. So welcome to the Energy Healing Lifestyle Journal Self-Care Challenge Day 25. My name is Robin Knott, and I'm your host of Energy Healing TV and podcast on YouTube, Rumble, and Spotify, and the founder of the EnergyHealingSchool.com. I'm a certified Reiki Master Teacher and have a Master of Social Work degree specializing in mental health and addiction treatment. And I'm here showing up to teach and support fellow empathic healers various energy healing methods with a strong focus on self-care, self-worth, and self-love without feelings of blame, shame, and guilt. It is okay to take care of you, right? It's necessary. So again, if you don't have your journals, grab them or grab them when we're done. That's fine too. Got mine handy. So yeah, let's back that up. Go back to our journal prompt. So remember, how we journal is, at least how I'm offering it up here, I'm giving a journal prompt. So when you go without in order to help others, do you feel anger and resentment? So when you're ready to journal on that, I like to write the question down. So I'll write the question out, and then I just ask myself, I did not have to wait to have an answer for this one. I'm just saying, no blame, shame, and guilt, right? But ask yourself the question as if you were asking someone else and literally wait for a response. Allow yourself to answer and just go with and write down whatever comes to mind. My answer, by the way, to this question was absolutely, right? Absolutely. When I go without in order to help other people, anger and resentment starts to form and starts to build, right? Which just justifies and that's the other word, supports the journaling process, the need for self-care. Because when we have boundaries in place and when we maintain those boundaries, then we don't get to that space, right? We can avoid it getting to that space. It doesn't mean we avoid helping others. It just means that we're not doing without having our needs met as we help others. We're doing both. We're finding a level of balance or harmony in that. There's inflow and outflow, right? Inflow of energy, and then we can help. Inflow, we're taking care of self, and then we help others. Inflow, we're receiving the source of unconditional love, and then we can flow that out and share that as well, right? Feeling anger and resentment. So twofold. In the journaling process, I talk about being aware, right? So we're increasing our self-awareness, assessing whatever shows up with the source of unconditional love. If it's not already in alignment with the source of unconditional love, then what is one step we can take to move closer to be in alignment with the source of unconditional love, right? Again, it's not blame, shame, and guilt, though. It's normal. It's normal to have these feelings when we deny ourselves self-care, when we deny ourselves our own needs, when we're not meeting our own needs, right? It's normal to then start to feel anger or resentment. So we're not shaming that, we're not blaming that, we're not minimizing it and saying, oh, you are less than. You are not a spiritual person because you had a human emotion. We're not doing that. Not doing that. We're still here having these human experiences for a reason. This is part of our learning journey. It's part of our process. And we can then journal, right? Because when I start to feel, if I'm not paying attention already, if I'm not already honoring my boundaries, right? I'm snickering at myself. If you're not already honoring your boundaries, then anger and resentment show up to show you, like, hello, hey, Don't forget you. You need to take care of you. You're denying your needs, right? Those two things, those two emotions help get our attention, which is the purpose of it. Sorry, I think I'm pushing on my journal, which is pushing on the laptop. I think we're still good. Um, don't lose track. But so our human emotions arise to give us an indication to get our attention. It's us kind of tapping ourselves on the shoulder. And when we don't listen, if you're stubborn like me, you don't listen to that. You blow it off. I'm still okay. Yeah, start to get a little tired, or yeah, I'm feeling a little disappointment, but I'm okay right now. I'll keep going. Then what happens? Right? Then what happens? It shows up in some form of dis-ease. So it could be the emotions of anger and resentment or others or grief. It could also be in the form of physical, right? Shoulders get tense, neck starts to hurt. Excuse me while I try to readjust and get comfortable, sort of here. It's kind of a tight fit. Might feel sick, get headaches, feel worn out, actually get sick because we're not taking care of ourselves, right? And you get worn out, and then your body can't fight off the normal things that it fights off, normal or abnormal, but it doesn't have the same ability to fight those things off because we're all stressed out and drained, right? So those emotions, those feelings of anger and resentment are the louder tap on the shoulders, like, can you hear me now? Will you start to take care of you, please, before this gets even worse, right? Again, my apologies. Cannot get cozy. Something else that came up in journaling. Here's some accountability for us, too. So if you notice when you journal, when you're in the awareness of when you are feeling that anger and resentment, do you notice that your mind projects it out to others? So the anger and resentment that is forming, we're assuming, is being projected out to those who aren't helping, right? The ones who ask for help, the ones who keep calling that need something, whatever. Those are you ask for help and people don't show up, and then you start to project that anger and that resentment out there. Like, I wouldn't be so overwhelmed if you would help me, right? And it's not that there's not truth to that, but part of it we still have to own ourselves because the only part we can control is ourselves. So there's twofold in our forgiveness, right? As I mentioned earlier, we are talking about forgiveness today and transformation in heart chakra energy. Space of love and compassion, and anger and resentment are not in alignment with love and compassion, right? Not towards self or others. So twofold. In one hand, we forgive others who know that we're struggling and leave us to struggle because then we feel jaded, right? Like, there's no reciprocity, there's no inflow and outflow. There's just this, taking from us is what it feels like. So on one hand, there's forgiveness there. Don't forget, I could like hear myself going, but, right? To forgive that and what that means. So what is your belief about what forgiveness actually means? Because forgiveness just means we're releasing the baggage that we're carrying, right? Oh man, my heart's like racing hard. I'm gonna breathe into that. Forgiveness just means, it could be a hard one, right? Forgiveness just means we're releasing the baggage. It doesn't mean that we're giving people free passes to treat us a certain way, not just by forgiving. Okay. The other part, the accountability part, is we also then have to forgive ourselves, right? Don't forget that saying that we teach people how to treat us. So, although there's that frustration and disappointment and anger and resentment towards others because they're not helping us when we struggle and we need the help, There's also our own accountability of at what point do we then choose to stop doing it, right? When do we choose to stop giving it away? When do we choose to stop putting ourselves last? Maybe not last, maybe, you know what I'm saying? When do you make the choice to set the boundary and maintain it, right? When do you make the choice to put your needs first? We have to own that. That could be challenging. Again, especially in the beginning of when anger and resentment comes up, because it seems like as I reflect in that process, I do that. Oh, I'm okay. I'm okay. I can keep going. I'm okay. And I'm doing some self-care, so I think that I'm okay. And it just wasn't enough. Or there's other things that I should have also included in my self-care that I didn't, but I thought I was doing enough. So I'm still okay. And I'm still doing more and doing. Oh, yeah. Okay. Let's add that to the plate. Oh, yeah. Okay. Let's add that to the plate. And okay. Let's add that to the plate. And then the anger and resentment starts to build, right? At first, it's just disappointment or frustration. And then it becomes that anger and resentment. And then right away, for myself, anyways, tell me if you do this too, if you've noticed. And if not, journal on it and try to be the observer in this process if and when you run into it again. And be honest with yourself. Again, this is not blame, shame, or guilt. This is just us going through the journaling process so we can heal the layers of our stuff, right? Period. So as you go through that process and you're pointing fingers, and you didn't help me, and you didn't help me, and you didn't help me, and I'm upset with you because I can't believe you, right? Everything's you. And then at some point, there's that release and that reflection back in. And the journaling process really helps with that. When I stop pointing out you and I step in and I say, okay, what part of this is mine, right? What part of this is mine? And the part of this is mine is I haven't been saying no. The part that's mine is putting my needs aside. The part that's mine is choosing to put other people first, right? I know sometimes it feels really good to put other people before yourselves. And it's really nice and it feels good to be able to help other people. I feel that 1,000,000%. But you have to take care of you too. Because when you don't, and the anger and the resentment starts to build, then how do you help anyone? You don't. It's not helpful. Not to them, not to you, right? So there's the lecture for today. I don't mean it to be a lecture, but sometimes we just have to own our stuff, right? And then through that process, that's when transformation occurs, when we're able to forgive, to release the anger and the resentment, when we're able to step in, because again, it's not blame, shame, and guilt, but how empowering that we can step up and say, wait a minute, I don't have to keep letting this happen. I can wonder why it keeps happening, but then I can kind of get in, start observing, increasing my self-awareness to see where it happens. And it happens with me. It happens with you. It happens every time we keep saying, okay, I'll help, I'll help, okay, okay, I'll help. And you don't have the boundaries in place, right? And you don't say no. Of course, we don't always say no, but needs versus wants. We scratched that surface a little bit yesterday, right? And we'll go deeper in the masterclass. So again, if you haven't hopped on that or signed up for that yet, couldn't hop on it yet because it's not till November. But if you haven't signed up for the masterclass yet, please do that. It's really, it's good. It's good. It's blah, blah, blah. The link is in the description, so you can sign up for that. You will get an email reminder or two before we start. So as we get closer, you'll get those email reminders. What else? So as always, that homework is checking in with you to increase your self-awareness, right? Ask yourself the question, whether you use my journal prompt or you have your own, where you can just ask your question, what do I need today? And then wait. And whatever comes up in your mind, I don't care if it's brown curtain, bright light, just write it down anyway. Go with it, because your mind's going through a process to get to where whatever needs to come up. And it will. Just flow with it. Assess what comes into your awareness. Is it in alignment with the source of unconditional love? Again, it's not blame, shame, or guilt, and we're not trying to dismiss or eliminate human emotions, but anger and resentment are not feelings that I want to be stuck in. I don't think that you do either. So it's just bringing it into our awareness so that we can start healing what needs to be healed. We can make changes that need to be made so that we don't have to be stuck and continue to carry anger and resentment with us, right? That's all. Which then gives us that step closer, gets us a step closer in alignment with the source of unconditional love. So let me know how you found this video, how you found the journal prompt, what came up for you when you checked in. If you feel comfortable sharing, drop it in the comments. If you know anyone else who could benefit from these videos as well, please share them out. Invite them to the masterclass as well. And of course, I will see you back here tomorrow where we're going to talk about communication and your truth and throat chakra energy. Take good care of you. So much love. Bye, guys.